Hello, welcome to another episode of Cricket Vana. Possibly the last episode, definitely the last episode. We'll be discussing IPL 2020. First of all, before we get into the games and the winner Mumbai and everything else, we should give a big shout out to BCCI and all the organizing and management committee, including UAE, cricket, and ICC, and everybody to actually pull this off successfully in this pandemic year. It was postponed, it was rescheduled, moved to another country, played it all in three venues: Sharjah, Dubai, and Abu Dhabi. Well done, actually, and it actually added a different kind of spice to the tournament with no home and away games. But I mean, it doesn't matter. Mumbai is way ahead than many other teams. So what we thought was very, very competitive ended up being exactly that for seven other teams, not Mumbai. It was quite competitive for seven other teams, except for Chennai. All six were in the mix till almost the last couple of games. Mumbai was on one extreme, Chennai was on the other extreme, who were the finalists last year. So yeah, it was exciting. It was a little bit of weird, but then in the end, Mumbai proved that 2020 is an odd year. It's not, for the first time they won it when the number is not odd, but I must say 2020 is the oddest of odd years in this decade. So yeah, kudos to Mumbai Indians. Somana, what did you think? The
Uh,
playoffs
you,
and especially the finals.
let me go back to the previous game. Um, I think if David Warner stayed there the first 5-6 overs, the game would have been completely different because he had his troops, and obviously with Williamson batting the way he batted, I think that would have been a different game altogether. With Delhi. But having said that, obviously that's over, and Delhi came, and um, I think again it's the first one. Stoinis stuck around for a few overs would have changed a little bit. Not that it would have won the game or not, but it would have been more competitive in my opinion. Another 15-20 runs would have made a difference in my opinion. That would have done. Again, it is what it is. And first ball, what are the odds? And
First time ever.
yeah,
First time in an IPL final, first
yeah.
ball al wicket bantu.
Correct. And in again, but when you go back and look at the statistics, and Trent bowled beautifully well in the first 2 overs. He got tremendous number of wickets. So I think again everything fell into place at the end of the day.
Mhm.
He could have, we could have, that should have, yeah. That's always there.
Yeah.
But Trent Bolt got so many wickets in the first couple of hours, and he proved it to be the game winner and game changer.
Yeah.
And a few things here and there would have probably been better. And Rohit Sharma, fortunately, played his best knock in the
Yeah.
entire tournament on the finals. So that's a good thing.
That was a
Um,
good trolling
yeah,
innings against the Indian selectors.
yeah. And and the other thing which I liked was, I think I've kind of started liking Surya Kumar Yadav.
Oh,
He
yeah.
started beautifully well again, but he sacrificed his wicket for his,
Really.
that's, I think that shows maturity, and also the sportsmanship, and also they wanted to win no matter what. It doesn't matter who scored. I think that was classic. Again, if Surya Kumar Yadav stayed, I don't, he would have probably finished it too. So who knows?
Yeah.
But he was well set. He played he was playing better at that moment, and obviously with Rohit Sharma being the name, he would have carried a lot easier than Surya Kumar Yadav would have probably. I don't know that, but I think in all, it was it's a great game, and I enjoyed it. They were short, maybe, you know 25, 20 runs at least, if not more.
175.
But you know what? A better team won because in the previously with 14 games, and they had 18 points. Obviously, they won 9 and lost only 5, and they deserved. They were the winners, and it was good in all for the T20.
Speaking about Surya Kumar and sacrifice, I think it comes with the name. ಮಹಾಭಾರತದ ಕಾಲದಿಂದ ನಾನು ಆ ಸೂರ್ಯ ಕುಮಾರ ಸ್ಯಾಕ್ರಿಫೈಸ್ ಕೊಡೋದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ.
Yeah, yeah. I
you
think
know,
that was, I think, that's a very, I think it's
yeah.
really good because look, millions of people are watching. You want to shine as well.
Yes.
Okay. And the selfish nature comes into
Oh
the
yeah.
picture. It's a team game. He proved it that, you know what, it's a team that's going to win, not me or him or whoever. I think that was classy in my opinion.
Excellent. Yeah, I mean, it won my heart actually. The
Yeah. I
finals.
think, look,
He's an
he would,
uncapped player.
yeah,
Imagine that. On the biggest stage. It's so tempting to stay not out, win that runs, and show them that like
right.
I belong.
Yeah.
But he
And
just took those that two steps in the end just to
yeah,
to pass Rohit and get out was
he just
man,
crossed right. He didn't
emotional.
have to, mind you. He didn't have to. He
Yeah,
would not have been blamed for anything.
seriously.
So
Yeah,
he just did that. He could have stood his ground, bat ಹಿಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ನಿಂತ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ರೆ ಮುಗಿದೋಗಿರೋದು ಕೆಲಸ. But I think that was very classy.
yeah.
It's very hard to do it, Kano. I mean,
Oh yeah.
we've all played games, and it's not that easy to, give away. I think obviously the team meetings had a lot to do with it. The conversation of winning was a lot to do with it. I think background though, I think that kind of showed on the cricket field.
How the team culture is ಅನ್ನೋದು ಗೊತ್ತಾಗುತ್ತೆ.
Correct.
It cannot be taught. It cannot just say,
Correct.
okay, hey, in this situation, if this comes, you need to sacrifice. Or,
No, that's that
can
never
never
happens.
happen. It's
That never. And I think hope the Mumbai recognizes that,
oh yeah,
in their dressing room and say, hey, thank you, because
absolutely.
I think
I think they do. I mean, they are
I think that's so
best
important
run,
for winning.
best
Yeah.
managed team, and the
What if he, Rohit Sharma was out, and let's say he got out too at 27,
yeah,
28, then it would have been a dogfight again.
yeah.
So I think that was classy of him,
Mhm.
and that's sportsman like him. I think that says a lot about a cricketer not playing cricket. Otherwise, he has been matured enough to play for the team. I think that was classy in my opinion. Cricket is a gentleman's game, and finally it proved that still it's a gentleman's game.
I know, and he's from Mumbai.
Mumbai, yeah. And
But
I'm talking about gentleman's game. The one thing which there was a comment which it is not related to the thing, but I watched Sunil Gavaskar, and they were talking about captains, how good a captain sort of Mr. Iyer was, and he made oh, he's from Mumbai anyway. I think that was probably a loose comment in my opinion, because
yeah,
he's supposed to be an expert, a classic cricketer. Don't bring those things into the equation,
exactly.
because he's a good captain, not because of Mumbai. He's a
Yeah,
good captain because he's a good captain, period.
yeah.
I think Shreyas Iyer is a good captain. Let's face
Yeah,
it.
he's good.
Give him
He's
the
a long way
credit
to
where
go. Including. I mean, I think he and Rahul have still some things to, achieve before we can start putting them
no,
as very good
yeah,
captains. But
but what
yeah,
I mean is they were praising good captaincy. Rahul was a
yeah,
part of it. He was a part of it, and obviously they said Rohit was a part of it. It's all said and done, but that comment was uncalled for, in my opinion.
yeah,
For the stature of Sunil Gavaskar, you don't do that. That's what I
exactly.
mean.
ಅವನು
So
ಶುರುನಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದ್ಸತಿ ಅಂದ್ರು
yeah,
when they asked him, okay, I know your heart goes to Mumbai Indians, and but which team ಹಂಗೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, oh, in the end it doesn't matter, both are captained by a Mumbai bloke, and
yeah, it matters. You know why?
yeah,
Just because Delhi won, he wouldn't have taken it. Just because,
I know,
no,
yeah,
and let's face it, it's not. So,
exactly.
having said that, I think at that juncture, probably 5 billion people are watching,
Yeah.
and probably nobody cared, I guess. But probably I was the only one who cared about
Oh
it.
yeah,
But
I
that
feel
was
that too. But
not a
again,
classic.
it's not really surprising, because we know what Gavaskar is by now.
Yeah,
So,
I think that was not a classic comment from a stature of Sunil Gavaskar, is what I'm saying. If somebody had said it, I couldn't care less.
yeah.
But him saying it, and there were only two. There was no Sangakkara also. So it was very evident that he made that, and it was kind of more, whatever. That's my one side.
Before I go to Vinay, I must just add back to Surya Kumar's run out. Just on the cricketing point, I think it was a good call by Rohit, because it was his call. The ball, he was running towards the danger end. So I must say, at least from my view, it was Surya's mistake to not respond earlier. Yeah, I think he could have reached safely, but it's just that he kept yelling no, 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 and then he sacrificed.
Correct.
Yes, but I think the running point of view, I think it was a good call by Rohit, and Sky should have just responded.
I made an observation after that. See, the ball was hit. It was pretty hit very hard. Yeah, look, it's Rohit's call. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah,
But why take he? I think, in his opinion,
I
why
think
take the chance? No, no, he was clearly no. It's not like he started and stopped. He was a no. He was in the crease all the way.
yeah,
So I think that's where he just ran. I think, again, it was a bad running between the wickets from Rohit Sharma, in my opinion. Though
yeah.
it was his call, it was a bad running. Just because it's his call,
It
if
was
he can't run,
unnecessary
there's no
risk.
run.
I mean,
Yeah,
yeah, in the end, yeah, you feel nobody would have been out if Surya had responded immediately,
correct.
but it was not necessary at that time.
At that time, it was not like the
Yeah,
16th
Stone
over that he
Oversittu,
wanted to.
yeah, last
It was
over,
the third over or whatever that is, second over, whatever. Anyway, so
right.
besides the point, but
Vinay,
again, I thought, yeah, go ahead, Vinay.
Vinay,
Yeah, I think first and foremost, credit to Mumbai because they, played a heck of a season. Especially with, all the stats and everything coming out. Some of the stats that really, uh, kind of stuck out to me were, just to begin with, this is a historical net run rate that we've seen in the IPL. When you take their run rate, subtracting their economy rate, their run rate is so high and the economy rate is so low
yeah,
that this net run rate of 1.14 or whatever it was is just
the highest.
unheard of. Like, it's miles and miles above any net run rate we've ever seen in the history of the IPL. So that's, the reason I want to bring this up is because the several things I want to bring up is that, one, last episode, and we've been talking about this throughout the entire season, is that the competition, this is the closest competition that we've seen. All the teams are extremely competitive. The table could have gone any way, etc., which is all true. But to give more credit to Mumbai, even with the table that tight, even with it being this competitive, they still somehow find a way to stick out from the pack, right? And I think that net run rate wise, it's just we've never seen a net run rate this high ever in the IPL.
Yeah,
I think other things that I saw were they used the least amount of players. I think they only used like 15 players in their entire
Correct.
squad, yet they knocked every statistic out of the book. Like, they had the most sixes that were hit. Their scoring rate at the death was the highest by far. Their power play, both ways, the wickets that they took, the runs that they scored, was above the rest. It's just unbelievable how that they have. Oh, that's exactly
yeah,
what I was looking at.
yeah.
It's just, you look at this,
137,
it's
the next best is
unbelievable.
105 by RR, and players use 50.
Wow.
Surprisingly, RCB and RR are the next best with 18 players.
Right.
Look at everything. Power play average 19 versus 31, which is the second best.
Correct.
Power play wickets. Wow.
But when you look at these kind of statistics, it's easy to say the IPL was very competitive, but it's also interesting to note that despite the competition, these guys stuck out like a sore thumb ahead of the pack like crazy.
It was Mumbai, Daylight, and then the other 6 teams, and then Chennai.
Right, exactly.
Right. You're right.
I mean, like I first said in my first minute, it was really, really competitive for the runners-up position.
Right.
Right. So in that way, Delhi won the best loser award. Like, it was the best of the losers when Mumbai was way ahead, and they were like, yeah, you guys handle the calculators and all the tables or whatever. We are just here to take the cup. You guys, keep fighting with yourselves.
Right. And I think, when we see them such, like a cut above everybody else, I think, and people have been talking about it on the air and stuff, but I think it's a legitimate argument to be made. Not just are they the greatest IPL team of all time? Yes, they are, because they have the most championships and whatnot, but are they the greatest IPL team of all time? And I really think that there is an argument to be made for that, because just the way that they perform, the culture of the team, which you can see, in if you watch like Cricket Fever, right, on Netflix or something, and you understand that the management and the team culture and everything, they really are a cut above the rest. And I started thinking about like how and why they're this great, and I think it really just comes down to amazing management, but also the way they scout their players, right? Their scouting is just top notch, because they're able to find such good talent historically, bring it and groom it, and then they perform, right? It can go all the way back to Bumrah as a bowler. They brought from literally nowhere in the middle of like literally the guy was just a village kid. They brought
John Wright.
him.
You have
You
to
know,
give
they brought
credit to
people
John
like
Wright for it. And he was the one who was scouting. During off season, he traveled to
Yara?
John Wright. Actually, he was the
Oh,
one.
yeah, right. Yeah.
He went to this Gujarat T20 league or whatever. Just watched him and picked him and said, okay, why don't you come over and run some test our trials, and they just picked him up and look where he is now. I mean, so yeah, it's
everybody,
amazing.
right? They've got the
And look at
Pandya
that.
brothers that they got from such a young age. They got Rohit Sharma. They have the most uncapped people too on the Indian team
Look
that
at
are
that.
amazing. They have Surya Kumar Yadav. They have Ishan Kishan. These people scored an unbelievable amount of runs,
Look
and
at
they're
that.
uncapped.
Out of top 5, you can see MI is in top 3 when it comes to uncapped stars performing. Look at that.
Right.
2018 1,000 runs with an average of
Wow.
but look at this 2020. I mean, yeah, of course, it's
Yep.
Surya and Ishan, which are
500 each about.
probably both of
Oh
them
my
are
God.
almost ready to play for India.
Yep.
But this year, I must say, I mean, not just Mumbai, right? I mean, overall, I think Indian domestic players, even uncapped players, it was a gala environment for those guys this time, like including Padikkal, Sandeep Sharma, Natarajan.
Tewatia,
Yeah,
Yeah.
Tewatia and Nattu, Natarajan and
Natarajan,
many others.
many.
Right? Ruturaj
Chakravarti.
Gaikwad, not to forget Ruturaj Gaikwad. He
Yeah,
had
Chakravarti.
for the first time, we mentioned a couple of episodes ago that CSK for the first time, I think in last 8 years, they got someone under 23 who scored a 50, and this guy Ruturaj scored 3 consecutive 50s.
3 consecutive 60s.
3 consecutive man of the match in their last 3 games. And before that, it was, who was that? In 2013 or something, 7-8 years ago, they had a under 23 50, under 23 person playing, scoring 50 runs. So that's amazing. I mean,
Like the Pandya brothers and Kiran Pollard, they all have over 150, average, hitting, tremendous hitting.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
my goodness.
It's just a well-balanced team, and it's just so well managed that it's just they're unbeatable if you think about it, right?
Yeah.
In the long run, all these players are showing up, they're all performing, and I think it's just it's a testament to the management and just the scouting.
Yeah.
I think.
My only concern, or I mean, not a concern, but I think I might be, I can say it as a complaint against Mumbai, is that are they in this position with so many resources and players because of the extra, money power they have? If that's the case, that is my complaint, because then it's not, it makes it a little uneven and unfair. But how much of it is true, I don't know, because there were allegations before where Mumbai and CSK were given some underhand favors when it came to auctions and all these other, I don't know. I mean, I don't want to open up a Pandora's box here, but I mean, sometimes that was my pet peeve sometimes when it came to Mumbai and CSK just dominating all the time, because they had these additional unfair advantage.
Wait, can you give me a little bit of this thing background on what was unfair there? Because as I said, I did not follow that much back because I didn't know this was going to get this big anyway.
Yeah, because during player auctions, there were especially with Lalit Modi at the helm.
Correct.
There were some murmurs about letting them know about the auction orders, or who will come in the ballot or whatever they call it, like the one time only, when Peterson, Flintoff, and many other superstars came in for that mega auction, there was some. So I mean, again, I don't want to.
But you know what? You have X amount of dollars you can spend, and you have X, and the Peterson is coming in line 7th or 16th or whatever that number is, and Warner is coming, Pandyas are coming. I mean, you can wait out, right? I mean, you can bet if you have let's say if Jayawardene had his 15, let's forget about the 23, whatever that is, 15. He wanted the 15, and if they have the money to spend that, they're going to bid whoever it is. They're going to finally bid anyway. So
I think
I don't know how it all
yeah, I mean,
happened.
that's what,
I don't want to say that.
I didn't dig deeply into that because at that time. But yeah, I mean, again, so I don't want to. Uh,
yeah. I mean, just to play devil's advocate to that point you made, I agree. I mean, that definitely we can look into things like the amount of money and everything. But what else you can say, going back to my point about scouting, is that there's two things, right? Number one, the more you scout local players, the less you have to pay for foreign players. So they save money that way. And then the second way they save money easily is because somehow they end up with all these fantastic uncapped players. When they're not such a big name, you don't have to bid as much for them because they're not that big of a name. So you're getting a bang for your buck by getting these Surya Kumar Yadavs and these Ishan
Hey,
Kishans, where you're underpaying them essentially, because if they were capped players, they might be worth double or triple on the market. So
hey, well, Padikkal got paid 20 lakhs. Come on.
I know.
exactly. I mean, that's one of the best moves RCB have done in from many years, and also I again we have to go back to the team culture, right? I mean, there are so many players who didn't perform well in many other teams, ex um,
When they came to
exclusively
Mumbai
for
or
RCB.
Chennai,
But then when they go to Mumbai and Chennai, even KKR for that matter, I think like Rajasthan is pretty much like RCB now. They have very many superstars, but they don't really perform. But I'm very sure some of those players, especially, let's say for some reason Tewatia is let go, or I don't think they will, but I mean, depending on the auction, we can talk about it that too. There could be like only 3 or 5 retention for the next year, and they have to release a lot of them. He will draw a lot of money again from other teams, and in case he comes to, God forbid he joins Mumbai Indians, then it can be a different story again. So there are people, there are teams, and then there are stars, but you cannot just put some stars in a team and expect them to win.
you know what? Look, there's two ways to look at it. You want players, there's no question about it. But you need stars to for people to come and watch. There's
Yes,
no question about it.
absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. So, the Smiths of the industry, or Geoffrey Archers of the industry, they all bring in people in
Oh
the
yeah.
stadium. You forget about this year.
Yeah.
They'll bring in. So you need it, but again, I mean, what has the Kohli and AB has done? Nothing. I mean, if you want to compare it, but
Right.
you need bodies there anyway. I mean, so
Yeah.
I think all in all, very excited. In fact, you know what? This is the first time in maybe 30 years ನಾನು ಎಷ್ಟು ಬಂದು 35 ವರ್ಷದ ಮೇಲೆ ಆಗೋಯ್ತು. I don't think I have watched this much cricket in 35-40 years. I mean, I got up, had a cup of coffee, watched every freaking game.
ಟೈಮಿಂಗ್ ಆಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಬೆಳಿಗ್ಗೆ 6 ಗಂಟೆ 7 ಗಂಟೆಗೆ ಆರಾಮಾಗಿ ನೋಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಮ್ಯಾಚ್ ಮುಗಿದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಯು ಸ್ಟಿಲ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಆಲ್ ಡೇ ಲೆಫ್ಟ್ ಟು ಡೂ
Correct. And I really enjoyed it because see, cricket ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೆ, ಆವಾಗ ಒಂದು 5 ನಿಮಿಷ, ಈಗ ಒಂದು 5 ನಿಮಿಷ ಬಂದು ನೋಡಿ ಹೈಲೈಟ್ ನೋಡಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. But this time I sat and watched. I could see the details of the I mean, technically I was able to understand, hey, what they're doing. That's how I really got into that, more into than the game winning or losing. How do they manage? How do they do that? I mean, unbelievable, I tell you. I don't think anybody has watched the number of games I have watched anywhere.
That's true. Yeah, we can't argue that. So yeah, I mean, if there's nothing else on the games and Mumbai, and yeah, I mean, of course, we have to um, give credit to Delhi. For the first time they reached the finals. That the Delhi was the only team who never played a final in 12 seasons.
Correct.
They broke that, which is so we must say it's their best season because they reached the final for the first time. But yeah, I mean, I think they had already lost it. I mean, by the time they began, I think they had that block to begin with already. That I mean, this is Mumbai, and we have to up the game, and they never believed that whatever they were doing was enough. You can see how Shreyas Iyer and Stoinis talked after the Hyderabad game as well. That if we up the game and if we are at our best, and so they knew that it was. They probably already knew that what they have been doing is not enough to win the finals. They had to do something special,
Yeah,
Whereas
especially in
Mumbai,
the latter half of the, and especially in the latter half of their this thing, they didn't do that well either.
oh
They
yeah,
started off great, but
they
they
won
kind of,
7 out of 9 for the
yeah,
first 9, and
they,
then they won only 2 of the
yeah,
last 7.
they fell apart a little bit. Probably that's why they were trying to tell themselves, "Hey, we need to do better." I mean,
Yeah,
that
yeah,
could be it too. So
yeah,
all in all, it was a great. I think, the other thing which I again, I mean, this is not this is good and bad. Good is everybody had a similar wicket. No home team advantage, no preparing of the wicket, no nothing.
yeah,
Everybody got what they got, and it really showed, who were better that day. Obviously the dew and all made a little bit of a difference. Toss winning made a difference. It always does anyway. But
yeah,
having said that, I think if they came out and played a good game that day, most of them won.
yeah,
So I think that's what happened. I think that's a good thing. Again, Bangalore, I think, oh, when ABL, I said, oh, Bangalore fans, we miss them. Yeah, of course, you mean
yeah,
Chennai fans, everybody misses them. Now, there's a little advantage there, but here there was nothing. That's probably what the best thing. There was no advantage. Everybody started the same. I think
exactly.
that was good in my opinion.
Yeah, and uh, just on a lighter note, I think the umpire Nitin Menon and Anil Kumble would have um, led a sigh of relief when Delhi lost, because they, Nitin Menon was the umpire who called that the wrong short run against Punjab.
Right.
So they always thought that with that 2 points, the table would have been different, and you never know, like if Delhi had won that.
I don't know whether you guys saw as many. As I said, I've claimed that I have watched the most of the cricket, obviously, because I saw the one thing was kind of disappointed. There were a lot of white balls that were not called. Okay. And a few of them were called, but there's not necessarily white balls, but a lot of them were not called, especially in the latter half of the innings. And it pitched just right on the line and moved out. That means it's a white. By the time it reached the batter's box, it was white. I don't know why they didn't call. I think I was disappointed with it. I think that, and I don't, I mean, obviously no balls are very important. I
Yeah,
don't think I care about that much. That should be a third umpire's call too.
yeah,
The reason is you can bat at double attack. You may not see the line. Okay. And in the heat of the moment, they may not follow that. I mean, that's what they're supposed to do, but they may not do that. I think they should be, because I think in one game, they literally, I think I have to remember which one it was. They lost because of a non-call of a white ball. That one run loss and one extra ball would have changed that game. That one of those,
yes,
with, I think one of those, with extra overs that they played. I can't remember which one. That really made the difference.
yeah, yeah.
And these
Anyway,
things happen again.
yeah. So that's the end of IPL 2020. Just a quick exercise. If you guys are in it, we can go over and see, build a team of the season.
Yeah.
Sounds
Yeah.
good.
All right. I'll throw out some names and let's see what we pick. So we have
Well,
to,
by batting order, by batting order, how to go?
batting order. So we have to still stick to the rules that we pick only 4 foreigners. So be mindful of that. So openers, right? Rahul and Dhawan to begin with, but let me throw a few names like Agarwal, Padikkal, even Warner for that matter, right? I mean, he's still crossed 500 runs or something. So I mean, Warner has been an all-time great now already in IPL.
In fact, they talked about it too. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so. I mean, in my all-time IPL, I'm already leaning towards Warner before Gale as my
Yeah.
opener. So anyway, so for this season, Rahul and Dhawan can't
agree.
see, can't
I will go with Rahul and Warner.
Rahul and Warner, but
Yeah. Give me a okay. Nalak bere bandra, I might reverse
Exactly.
Warner, but
Yeah.
I'm with Warner right now.
Okay. Adike, on right and left anta, I went with Dhawan because there are some other foreigners that we want to include. Middle order, Surya, Ishan, Ibru irtare ansate. Surya and Ishan Kishan for sure. Maybe other names in the middle order are again, ABD, the Superman, he was always there. Morgan, he had a couple of great knocks.
Great knocks, yes.
Puran was good too. Who else? Can't think of any other like 3, 4, 5 kind of a batsman who had a bigger impact than these guys.
So are you going by this year's performance, right? Purely
only
this year, but not by the name.
No,
Pollard can be a number 5.
Huh?
Pollard can be a number 5.
Pollard too, yeah. I had the all-rounder slot with between Stoinis and Pollard.
Okay.
I thought of Hardik too. He had a great batting, but then
He's not bowling.
he
He's not
didn't bowl.
bowling.
So then we are stick with. I don't want to stick to 5 bowlers exactly.
Mhm.
So I just want
Okay, you know what?
sixth option in Stoinis.
You know what? I think my personal favorite now is Surya Kumar at number 3.
Yeah, Surya Kumar and Ishan Kishan 3, 4. I would. Think,
I don't have Ishan Kishan in my team.
okay, who's your 4?
Okay, let's do this. Let's get the 4 foreigners out of the way.
Okay, 4 foreigners. What are your
That
4?
way, yeah.
Yar nim 4 foreigners.
Warner.
Hmm.
ನಿನ್ ಲಿಸ್ಟ್ ಹೇಳು ನನಗೆ ಅಟ್ಲೀಸ್ಟ್ ಐ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಥಿಂಕ್
ನನ್ನ ಪ್ರಕಾರ ನನ್ಗಿರೋದು ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್
ನಿಂದಲ್ಲ ಲಿಸ್ಟ್ ನಂಗೆ ಹೇಳು ಆಮೇಲೆ ನೀನ್ ಪಿಕ್ ಮಾಡು.
ಲಿಸ್ಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇರೋದಾ ಫಾರಿನರ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ? ಸೊ ವಾರ್ನರ್, ABD, ಮಾರ್ಗನ್, ಸ್ಟಾಯ್ನಿಸ್, ಪೊಲಾರ್ಡ್, ರಶೀದ್ ಖಾನ್, ಆರ್ಚರ್, ರಬಾಡಾ, ಬೋಲ್ಟ್.
ವಾವ್. Arjun Rabada and?
ಆರ್ಚರ್, ರಬಾಡಾ, ಬೋಲ್ಟ್.
Oh my God! Jesus Christ!
That's why I didn't pick I didn't pick Warner, because I would rather give my foreign slots to bowlers rather than Warner, because there's enough batsmen.
You're right. You're right.
Dhawan, especially if you want a left-handed opener, I think Dhawan is right there.
You're right. I think what with 4 limitation, I will go with Dhawan. I will pour Warner.
I know
the
exactly.
loser.
My foreigners were Archer, Rashid Khan, ABD, and Stoinis. Between Stoinis and Pollard, I just leaned on Stoinis because he's a little better bowler. He gives you that 6th bowling option for me in this 11. Again, Pollard didn't really. I mean, he had a great strike rate, but he didn't really score much.
At all.
But I mean, that's probably a credit to Mumbai team because they didn't really need Pollard's batting this time that much. Except for that Bangalore super over game, he didn't really needed to bat much at all.
Yeah. I would have Rashid Khan no matter what, because he has bowled over and over and over again beautifully well.
Yeah, Rashid Khan and
Archer for sure.
All-time 11, but Rashid Khan this year too. I mean, he was the best.
Archer and Rashid.
Archer.
Stoinis for me for all-rounder.
So, Rashid Khan, Archer, Stoinis, and you can go with ABD or Morgan. ABD gives you
I'll go with Morgan because of the left-handed ability.
Okay, yeah, because you have but I had Ishan Kishan too. Additional spinner, Chahal or Varun.
Chahal. That guy can get.
He had a great season actually. I mean, Papa, he was the second. I think ABD, Padikkal, and Chahal were the only RCBians who really struggled. Not really struggled, who performed really well this season. Rest of the fast bowling, of course, Bumrah. Nobody will contest that. So one other bowling, it has to be an Indian. So between Shami or Nattu.
Shami.
For consistency, I think. I mean, Shami really did well even in death this time. He bowled an excellent super over. But Nattu has the Yorker percentage is amazing.
It's a shame that I cannot fit in Sandeep Sharma, an absolute phenomenal bowler.
Yes. Dude, I must show you this thing again. Last week we touched upon it. Man, we need to share this one more time before the numbers change next year. Look at this. Sandeep Sharma.
Yeah.
No, not this.
I was honestly just perplexed when I found that stat. I was just like, I can't believe this is true.
Yes, look at that. They are neck to neck. Jasprit Bumrah, 92 games each.
Yep.
109 wickets each.
Yep.
Both have 4 furs, no 5 fur.
Correct.
Average. Look at that. So Bumrah is 0.3. So Bumrah is going to give you a wicket every 7.41 runs versus 7.7 runs.
That's really
Splitting
nothing.
hairs.
Look at, oh no, sorry, 7.41. This is economy. So Sandeep Sharma is going to give you 0.3 extra run per over, which is like 1.2 runs per match if they bowl out full 4 overs. And this is the
The next one in 19, or 1887.
So a wicket every 19.2 balls versus 18. So this guy gives you a better strike rate because 9 wickets each, and Bumrah has bowled 6 overs more.
Yeah.
Yep.
Amazing stats.
But not all. Look how the social media or the commentators can bring in Bumrah so much. Nobody spoke about Sandeep Sharma at all.
I want to break this out into power play and death overs, and also maybe the top order wickets versus tailenders. Maybe that's where Bumrah may outscore, but the numbers really are, man, this is scary.
I think Sandeep Sharma should print this and take it and ಎಲ್ಲಾರ್ಸು ತೋರಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡು ರೋಡೆಲ್ಲ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇರ್ಬೇಕು.
I know.
That's unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
And
it's a shame we can't find
it.
it.
10 miles slower than Bumrah. So,
yeah.
Wow. I don't know what else to say.
Hope that kid gets a good on the 5 ವರ್ಷ 10-20 years. At least he can make some money out of it because he's not going to play for India.
Yeah, see, the number of overs, and this is the average. Average is the number of runs you give away per wicket.
ಯಾರೋ ಕ್ಯಾಪ್ಟನ್ಸಿ ಯಾರು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೋ ಈ ಟೀಮ್ಗೆ? If Owen Morgan is there, I'm going to give him the captaincy.
Yeah, if Morgan is there, yes. Who else? We don't have.
I was going to pick KL Rahul as my opener and my captain. I have my 11 here.
All right, go ahead.
My 11, I will open with KL Rahul and Padikkal.
All right.
And then my number 3 is Surya Kumar Yadav. Number 4, I have ABD. He's going to take one of my foreign spots. Number 5 and 6 were really hard, but I had to go with Indians because I want foreigners for my bowlers. So I had to go with Tewatia and Jadeja.
Ooh, Tewatia.
Wow.
So I put Tewatia and then I put Jadeja because 1, they're both Indians, and 2, you can bowl with Jadeja and his hitting is phenomenal. And this is because I don't want Hardik because he doesn't bowl anymore, and I don't want Pollard because I can't have another foreigner. So instead of Hardik, Pollard, I'm going Tewatia, Jadeja.
So no Ishan Kishan.
No Ishan Kishan.
Wow. Okay.
Then I'm going to go Rashid Khan, Archer, Rabada. Those are my 3 bowlers, foreigners. And then I'll finish it off with 2 Indians with Bumrah and Natarajan.
Nice. I love that.
Wow.
I love that. I was also biased towards Padikkal, but I mean, Dhawan's numbers this season was a little.
He padded it with 2 centuries. If you take out the 2 centuries, I don't know if it'll be that good,
That's true.
I think, that's a good point. Honestly, in terms of consistency, giving the numbers to the team, he, except his 2 centuries takeaway, there was not too many runs, except, last game on the 80 ನೋಡ್ದಲ್ ಬಿಡು.
ಏನಾಯ್ತು ಅಂದ್ರೆ I mean, he scored a nice 70 in the qualifier as well, but and one more 50 some other earlier game. Only thing was, yes, both are left-handers. When it comes to the strike, because KL had a lower strike rate this time, I didn't want to have KL and Padikkal who were like in the 120s strike rate.
But I thought maybe KL can express himself if Padikkal can be the guy that's, you know what I mean? Because
yeah, you can't go. I mean, Dhawan and Padikkal are pretty much similar, I would say. And with the age being on Padikkal's side,
you have youth on the side,
KL is captaining Vinay in team?
Yeah, I have KL captaining and wicket keeping.
Oh, okay.
Wow. With Tewatia and Jadeja, you have 7 bowlers now. That's amazing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But the great part is all these people can bat, right? You have Jadeja and Rashid Khan and Archer that can all bat
Yeah.
as bowlers. And then you still have, see, the one guy that I missed out, unfortunately for me, is Trent Bolt, but that's because he's good with the new ball, but I don't think he's a good death bowler, so I
No,
had to leave him out because
you
of
are a
that.
good death bowler. But yeah, I mean, if I would just use Mumbai's tactics and
But when he's going to guarantee 2 wickets in the first 2 overs,
3 overs,
True.
I'll just bowl, maybe just bowl all four, like 1, 3, 5, 7. if you want.
whatever. I mean, I'm saying, you know what? He's that good. That's what I mean. But this year it's a tough one. I'll agree with Vinay. Probably I would go with rather than Jadeja or Tewatia rather. I would go with Morgan because he brings in the captains. Now I would captain him, but let's say if you want to have, I would have Owen Morgan in the team to help out. KL to make some firm decisions based on whatever, but he's going to get runs as well.
But you have to drop. You have to drop a foreigner now.
Oh my God! Okay.
That's why.
Oh, that's a different.
Bring in another Indian bowler. Yeah, bowler. There's no other batsman.
There's no other. Yeah, because right now,
you're going to drop ABD for Morgan.
Unless you drop ABD for Morgan, then you can do it. But you can't drop Tewatia.
Yeah, but I mean, if you drop ABD for Morgan, then it's Morgan, Tewatia, Padikal. There's a lot more left-handers now.
I know.
Because that brings in a different flavor, Ninja. See,
I
rotating strikes becomes easier, and you cannot bowl. So for somebody who is going to bowl against that team, it's very hard to make the adjustment when you're sitting there. And also, it takes a tremendous amount of captain should really think, how is he going to move those fieldmen when they strike rotating?
Mm-hmm.
That's a tough one. So
any takers for Ashwin? Because Rashid and Chahal both are leg spinners.
Oh, that's true. Rashid, and yeah, you're right.
Because I mean, he's probably the best off spinner we saw. I mean, Sundar was not behind, but I think Ashwin trumps Sundar.
Yeah, you know what? I know I'm not. No, Ashwin is not in any of my teams.
Okay, yeah, I'm just throwing not in my team too, but I'm just throwing I mean, in case somebody says.
I didn't even have Chahal on my team. I mean, I like Chahal, and I didn't have him on my team. So
well, Varun too. Varun is another.
I mean, there's definitely some spinners. I mean, the most wickets between two spinners was on Punjab. It was Bishnoi and Murthy. They had the most wickets for two spinners. So they're also fantastic.
Between Tewatia, forget about it. Tewatia has bats too. That's a good thing. Between
the only
Jadeja,
person that can come in for Tewatia is Hardik.
Probably I would bring instead of Jadeja, I would bring in probably Chahal, probably.
That's a lot of bowling, not enough batting then.
But there's no batting now.
There's no batting if you do that. Because you have 6 bowlers, Avaga.
I mean, actually, my concern with Vinay's team is having Tewatia and Jadeja both is a bit of a hit and miss.
I know.
Yeah, I mean, it's both in bowling and batting.
Yeah.
Correct.
It's they're both kind of similar, hard-hitting left-handed middle order batsmen.
If you have a collapse in the top order, you can't rely on these two. But the reason I had that's the weakest part of my team. But I'm trying to make the top and the bottom better because of it. Because hopefully someone fires.
These two, I mean, if you have 7 like if you have 5 bowlers and these two, it makes sense.
Yeah, which is what I have.
Yeah, not when you're going.
But if you have to between Tewatia and Jadeja, I will go with Jadeja because his fielding is phenomenal.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, then you have to bring in Hardik at the number 5 slot for Tewatia instead.
Yeah.
Because there's no you cannot pick you have to pick an Indian, and you have to pick someone that's an all-rounder, and the only person left is Hardik then because Pollard is a foreigner, can't pick him.
No. Right now you cannot consider him as an all-rounder because he has not bowled 1 over. I mean,
right.
Yeah. So who's the other batsman who got runs here?
Middle order in your
lower middle.
That's it. Can Puran play number 5? Number 6?
Foreigner.
Foreigner, yeah, you can do that. Yeah, Indians, I can't think of anyone else.
Can
bring Mayank into that.
Or maybe Ishan Kishan back.
Maybe you can, Ishan Kishan. Or, there's obviously some big names out there that didn't perform, but maybe they can hit like Dinesh Karthik. Maybe you can bring in there, but he didn't perform this IPL. So,
I mean,
I will bring in Mayank Agarwal.
yeah,
He consistently got runs, mind you.
he did. That's true. Yeah. Wow. All right. So
Man, that's a tough one, though.
I know. So the definite choice for all of us is KL Rahul,
mhm,
Surya Kumar,
mhm.
Rashid Khan, Archer, Bumrah. Like those five are in everybody's team,
Mm,
right? And then you have an opening partner. It could be Dhawan or Padikkal,
mhm.
maybe Warner if you want to mix and match the foreigners again. But I think Dhawan and Padikkal are good enough, compared to Warner, at least for this season.
Yep.
Sky for sure. ABD is there.
Mhm.
Another middle order again. If you want to go with an
Hey,
additional
fantasy team ಏನ್ ಕೊಡತ್ತೋ ನೋಡ್ದಿ ಅದನ್ನ
ಫ್ಯಾಂಟಸಿ ಟೀಮಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ದಿದ್ದು KL, ಧವನ್, ಸ್ಕೈ ಸೂರ್ಯಕುಮಾರ್ ಯಾದವ್, ಇಶಾನ್, ABD, ಸ್ಟಾಯ್ನಿಸ್ ಟೆವಾಟಿಯಾ, Rashid, Chahal, Archer, Bumrah.
Wow.
So they had no
No Rabada.
Rabada.
I mean,
They had no.
Rabada had a bad last half.
I have something about Rabada. I mean, obviously he's a good bowler. You cannot discount him. But his number of wickets was all in death overs when they're swinging. It was never in the top.
He got only one.
Yeah.
Power play wicket.
That is my problem with him. Because
I mean,
as a bowler of Rabada's caliber, he should knock off a 1 or 2 or 3 on any given,
Power play, I think Archer and Bolt were way ahead, even better than Bumrah, Shami.
Yeah.
yeah.
But in the middle overs, that's where I think Bumrah and Shami shine, came through. And of course Rashid Khan. He's the best.
I tell you, that guy is unbelievable. I mean, if he had gotten that a cotton ball on Bitbuta Avane, some things would have been different that day.
Yeah. I mean, if I would even go with Bolt before Rabada if you want a
Oh yes.
foreign bowler, fast bowler, and just bowl at least 3 overs in power play, if not all 4.
Yeah.
At least 1-3-5 or 2-4-6. Maybe bring.
If you know that he's going to get wickets and he's not a big death bowler, I would bowl him 4 and be done with him.
Yeah,
if he gets wickets.
And Cottrell, Bolt and Cottrell are bad, really, really bad death bowlers. So we should never, it was unfortunate that, he bowled the 18th over to Tewatia and, got hammered. But he's also just like Bolt. He's a really good, new ball bowler. Well, okay, I think there we have it. The team, the audience, you guys can pick and slice and dice.
I'm sure there's going to be a lot of changes. What we picked.
They were perfect. We can. All-time team is another monster that we can tame some other day. All right. Indian selection for Australia. It's looks like the story is not ended yet. Every day there's some addition and rumors, and now the latest development is that Virat Kohli is returning after 1 test.
It's done now though. He's not coming back because he'll go because he has to be in bubble for 14 days before he gets back. So there's no point. He's not coming.
Returning.
But there's a problem there, I'll tell you. They made this guy vice captain. He has to play all the things. He doesn't even fit in the team, in my opinion.
Who?
Vice captain of Indian team. What is that kid? Rahane.
Test team, yes, he is there.
Yeah, but he may not even. My team, Rahane will not be in the team.
Rahane is not in your test 11?
No.
So that's sad. I don't think my dad has ever liked him. I remember for Rahane, the reason why I fell in love with him is because in 2014, 2015 season or so, by then he had scored.
He had an excellent season.
He was the only batsman out of everybody that fired, right? He had a century in every single except for Bangladesh, he had a 95. Every
Yeah.
other nation that they toured on their away tour, he scored a
Yeah.
century, and no one else delivered.
That what 200 almost 300 run partnership in Melbourne.
Yeah,
Kohli and against Mitchell Johnson. That
Yeah, right.
fight.
Yeah.
I mean, but yeah, I mean, I
he's lost
agree with
form.
Somo a little because last 2 years he hasn't really performed. But I mean,
Yeah.
maybe Kohli's absence and captaincy will probably bring him back. I don't know. I mean, because he had a pretty decent IPL as well, which might give him.
If you were planning to take Rohit Sharma,
Rohit is in test team now.
why not? Why not make him the vice captain? Be done that way. If you can take Rahane, if you want, if he's good, he can play. If he's not, he's not. Then you don't have to.
Yeah, but the thing is, see, Rohit has never really cemented his spot in Test 11.
Correct,
And
Appa.
only last year he started opening, and they thought, okay, now this will be my opening fix. But again, with Agarwal and now Rahul back, and yeah, I think Rohit's spot is still not like 100%. I don't think we can readily say that okay, Rohit is going to retire.
Correct. I get it. I am telling, but you're not going to drop him for the next 4 tests. They're going to 3 tests. They're going to play.
But I mean, provided he's
Assuming he's fit
enough, right?
Yeah,
So
you're not going to drop him.
because of that fitness dilemma, they just thought, okay, let's not put it into the ifs and buts and say, okay, Rohit will be the vice captain, and in case he's not fit again, Rahane will come back as a captain. So I think they just went with experience, and because Rohit has never captained a test match at all.
Yeah.
At least Rahane has captained a couple of times, and he has a 100% record, by the way. Whenever he has captained, I think he has captained 2 or maybe 3 tests, and he won all of them. So
See, even in 2020, Rahane failed miserably in every innings.
He's not a T20 player at all.
Won the 50 overs last time.
No.
I think something like he played good. That's a great innings. I liked it.
Yeah, but I mean, Rahane, it needed RCB's bowling to score a 50 for Rahane, but I mean, it's Rahane, and for personally, I don't like Steve Smith as a T20 player as well. But I mean, that's another episode, I guess. But Rahane was never a T20 player.
Yeah, I think that there's they did a good job. I'm not a big fan of that Bangalore guy who came, or whatever his name is, Siraj, whatever that is, Siraj
and Saini both are in
Saini.
So Siraj, I'm not going to defend
you.
Siraj, but what I'm going to say about Siraj is he's what you have watched him is T20 cricket. If you look at his actual, his Ranji, his stats are unbelievable. This guy is a red ball bowler, so I think he needs to get a chance on the red ball team because what you saw in the IPL is not really who he is. I would say.
Yeah, I was about to say that he has excellent red ball record for last couple of years for Hyderabad. So I think that's why he just got picked. I mean, so since we saw him in IPL more than anything else, we just feel that he's been picked because of IPL, but it's the other way. He just got an opportunity in IPL because of his test record, his first class record. So I think that is his forte. And I mean, if he fails. But I mean, I think he has earned the right to at least be selected in the tour, especially with Ishant Sharma being injured. And again,
he's not in the test team, is he?
He is.
Siraj
is. Okay, then I'm good. I'm good. Okay.
Siraj and Saini. So Siraj, by the way, I mean, even if you see his best spell against KKR, and also that 1 wicket of Prithvi Shaw.
Oh my God, that was good.
Those were all really, really good test balls, test deliveries.
Right.
Yeah.
The perfect test length, and just outside off stump. So let's see.
I think Prithvi Shaw shouldn't have been in the Test 11 either, in my opinion. But
I like that too. Yeah, I mean,
that's a bad call. So
I have a couple highlights here if you want me to just go down the list, because it's hard to look at all 3 teams side by side, but I just pulled out some nuggets and we can discuss if you want.
Sure.
So I think first and foremost, obviously, we can't really say much about Rohit Sharma, right? Because Rohit Sharma, like, we'll see if he makes it or not. It's a question mark, so it's not worth talking about it just now. We'll see what happens there. Also, I'm not going to mention Ishant Sharma and Bhuvneshwar Kumar because unfortunately they're injured, and we all know that Ishant Sharma would be great on a deck like Australia where it's bouncy, and you want his height, and unfortunately he's not going to be fit. So that's another thing I wish we could talk about, but it's not there.
When Ishant was, I mean, he was the, butt of all jokes beginning, in his first half of his career, except for that Ricky Ponting spell in 2008.
Right.
Then you must say, I mean, especially after Kohli's captaincy, I mean, for the last 3 years, Ishant has been not just the best Indian bowler, he is among the top 5 in the world now.
Yeah.
When you just look at those numbers, like the average and economy and everything. So
and we could really use him in Australia, but
if he had played, I think yes, for a fast bowler from India, and I think he will be the second fast bowler after Kapil to play 100 tests if he
Correct.
Because
he has one more, right?
96 or 97. So this series, if he played all the games, he would have reached 100 tests.
Right.
Wow.
A couple other points. I was surprised that Saini made all 3 teams, T20, ODI, and Test. I don't think he deserves to be in that list of the people that are across all formats. He hasn't proven anything to me. I don't know if you guys have anything to say about that, but I didn't think that was fair.
I think so too. Yeah, I mean, because I think they just went with his first few games in IPL. They thought, he might be a good T20 addition as well.
Right.
Again, I think he's a better test bowler, and I think he brings that 140 plus, which might be an asset, but I don't know the longevity of him, especially with all 3 formats. I mean, by the time the test begins, he might be heading back home.
Right.
If he plays all the white ball games. I mean, I hope he's not playing all the white ball games, but
The other thing about that I liked is I'm glad that Sanju Samson got a chance on the T20 team. I'm happy for him. Let's see if he takes the opportunity with both hands and he converts, because this is, I think, the one chance he has, and if he capitalizes, he'll be a mainstay. If not, then I think he's gone. But I think that was heartwarming to see at minimum. So that's something I saw. Another thing I really liked was KL Rahul being let back onto the test team, because I think he's a generational talent. I think that he should be on the test team. Rohit Sharma being injured was almost like a boon for him.
On that note, I know there were a lot of doubts and controversy when Rahul was selected, saying, you should never select a test team based on IPL performance or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's just the timing that is giving birth to this argument. But because I don't think it's just IPL, but it was more of Rahul and Rohit and Kohli's. They know they're like you just said, they're generational talent who will retire as a Indian cricketer.
Right.
Yes, I mean, they were dropped because of the bad form, and he has age in his hand. It was just that his mental the state he was in, and now that he proved that he's back, and he has that clear sense of batting, they were just waiting for that to come back.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that was the factor in
coming back to Rahul, his strike rate of 120 probably got him to the test side.
Maybe. I don't know. On a serious note, though, I don't know if you guys saw that Akash Chopra wrote a really, really beautiful article about it. And he basically said, that KL Rahul really deserves this chance, because so many times other players have been given that chance and they've become a player because of it. Like Sehwag, they brought him back as an opener, and his test, career took off after that. Same with Rohit Sharma, kind of. So, Akash Chopra, he was kind of talking about his personal experience getting snubbed. He should have been picked, but I think Sehwag was picked instead or something. But he was just saying KL Rahul really deserves this, and I think it was a really beautiful written article about that.
Even this Gavaskar said KL Rahul really deserves it to stay in the side, because I think he was. I think I partly saw his 149 in over. I don't know. Some of you saw that. Brilliant innings ago. He's failed and he almost came back to the side again with a 149 at over that he got. That was a brilliant game on Prakara. That's one of the best innings he has played. So
couple other thoughts I had here was being Kannadiga, we're super happy that Mayank Agarwal is across all three formats. I mean, that's a great chance for him. I'm happy for him. But on the flip side, I'm kind of annoyed that Shikhar Dhawan is on all three formats.
I
I
know.
think that
No,
guy
no,
needs
no.
to.
He's not on the test.
No, he's not in the
No,
test.
I think he is.
No,
No.
he's not. He's not.
Not Dhawan.
No, go
Dhawan is
take a
out of
look.
test. He's
Illa.
back for only white ball.
Really? Okay.
I would not have picked him in any, but that's another story.
Yeah, I would have rather had Padikkal or something.
I wrote after his twin hundreds that I think this twin hundred is bad for Indian cricket. But
Yeah.
because I expected Dhawan to be picked after that, and because which I didn't want. I mean, he's 34 now, and you know he shouldn't even be playing next year's T20 World Cup for sure.
Right.
And in 2023 ODI World Cup is definitely a non-starter for Dhawan. So it's ridiculous that you're retrogressing and going back to Dhawan at this
Correct. At 34,
Right.
why do you want to go back
time.
there?
At least bring in Padikkal or something in the T20 team, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. That was unfortunate. We'll see what happens there. And then the last thing that I thought was very interesting is that Rishabh Pant is only picked for the test team, and Riddhiman Saha is on the test team, meaning he's probably not going to play. So he's kind of, I don't know if he's out, but it's just really interesting to see this guy wasn't picked at all for limited overs, which is probably where he belongs, but he's not on that team.
Yeah,
and what is he doing on the test team,
Yeah, and who knows? I mean, he might be your test keeper now because Saha is injured.
True.
And, but
I hope Saha comes back because his batting is brilliant on Prakara.
Oh yeah. And forget about batting. Just on the keeping side, I rate Saha as the best keeper in the world now for tests.
Definitely.
His keeping, I mean, compared to
and also it will bolster
and have a proper keeper now after this guy's retirement. And so no team has such a good keeper anymore.
And also it will bolster the lineup after 5-6 with Saha coming in the test side. Yes. He can easily get a 30, 40, 50 on any given innings. I mean, he can play with whoever. Let's say if Kohli is playing batting and he can come back at 6 down or 5 down or whatever, he can get a 150 run partnership easily.
Yeah.
So that's important. First, if you lose a couple of wickets in the middle, somebody needs to come back and play a good innings with the top order guy. And Saha is one good one. He has the technique to play that and to play the long innings.
I mean, I was telling my dad, like when you look back at the 2017, 2018 home season for India, they would never get out. They always declared because their tail would score another 300 runs. You had Ashwin scoring centuries, you had Saha scoring centuries.
Jadeja, Saha, and Hardik Pandya. You had 6, 7, 8, 9 who can.
And at least one or two of them would score a century. For some, it was crazy. Their batting is very deep in the tail. I think.
Yeah. Only I think Ishant and the other guy, whatever his name is.
Umesh
Yadav.
Ishant, Bumrah, Shami, and Umesh. They would pick just 2 of them.
Right.
Because in India, Sri Lanka, wherever, you just need 2 pacers, and if you have Hardik Pandya and Ashwin Jadeja, it's great enough.
Right.
But yeah,
I think that's I think hope if Riddhiman Saha comes back into because I want him because he's been in the sideline way too much. Because when I went to Bangalore, he was there on the NCA rehabbing again last time, early this year.
All right, one other name which is conspicuously left out, which everybody claimed, and it was probably the big second big name after Rohit Sharma in terms of news making was Suryakumar Yadav.
Right.
I personally feel yes, I mean he could have been picked, but I don't think it's too unfair to leave him out at this time because this is actually the first season that he has actually been so consistent and performing so well and banged the door of the selectors.
Correct.
Right. So when you compare to many others who have been consistently performing, and look at Mayank Agarwal for that matter. I mean, he had to wait 3 years.
Yeah.
He had to perform 3 consecutive years consistently to be selected.
Correct.
So I don't see. I mean, maybe he could be your best batsman in this series if he had picked, but there's no real big reason to drop anyone else. I mean, just to make them.
Look, I mean, as much as I love Suryakumar, Yes, because there are so many players who have
Yeah,
scored so many runs. They deserve to be in
yeah.
rather than Surya Kumar at this time.
And I think if you're going to go by that logic, right? Also, if you look, Devdutt Padikkal has scored more runs in him in this IPL, and I think he scored more in Ranji first class. So
Yeah,
if you're going to talk about that, then you have to include him too. So no one's talking about him, right? They're all talking about Sky.
yeah, exactly. And I mean, yes, he might score a little faster than, like say Shreyas Iyer or Manish Pandey in the middle order, but it's not proven. I mean, and especially Iyer and Pandey, yeah, I mean, compared to Rohit or Kohli, yeah, they might be the second rung batsman, but they haven't done bad enough to be dropped as well,
No, no.
right?
Shubman Gill, for
So,
that matter, they're young, they have at least another 10, 15 years.
yeah.
So,
So yeah, I mean they have a, I mean, yeah, I mean another thing is, yeah, Sky is now 29, 30. So that's another thing. He might miss out. I mean, if he's not picked in another year, he's done. I mean, I don't think he will.
see, one good thing is if the IPL happens in April again, and if he scores the same number of
Oh,
runs, I think he can come back. Somehow he can get a.
I really want him in the T20 World Cup squad next year.
Hmm.
At least, I mean, especially since it's happening in India, I don't think we need like Dhawan or even
No.
for Indian pitches. I would not even go with Shreyas Iyer or Manish. I don't think we need both of them in the 11.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, this team hopefully is not a precursor to the World Cup squad, which should have been. But like, I mean, even having Kohli, Dhawan, and Rohit is already uh, not a great move in my opinion already, for at least for T20, right? So let's see. There's just like 2007 when Dhoni just went with surprisingly new, uncapped, youngsters, where when Tendulkar and Dravid gracefully just said, okay, we're not going to play this one, which was great because I mean it would be very tempting to say, I mean they were like ODI one day superstars at that time, and nobody would have questioned if they were selected, but they just backed out and said, I mean, this looks like a youngsters game.
And also, mind you, T20 was not that popular in 2007 versus 2020.
No, seriously, the 2007 World Cup munche, India had played. Do you know how many T20 internationals India had played before that? One.
Yeah.
Wow.
Only one in 2006 series. So to South Africa, they just scheduled one just for the heck of it.
Yeah. And also,
Only
I
one game.
don't think
That
they
is the only
thought
game that Tendulkar
T20 is
played.
going to be this big anyway.
Yeah, that's right. That is the only game that Tendulkar played. That's it. It's the only one T20 international in his life. And so that was the ideology, at that time. Like, India, even Australia did not take it seriously. They haven't yet taken it seriously. So, that's why they never won the World Cup. And I think they are really, really serious this time. But yeah, will be interesting one year for T20. So that's why I thought, especially with all the IPL games going on, I thought Indian Tour of Australia will kick off with T20 series because they are in the T20 mode. But apparently they are going to start with 3 ODIs and then 3 T20.
Yeah, they want to break that because
No, because I think it's because ODI is of no importance this time.
Right.
But T20, because you have 2 back-to-back World Cups next 2 years,
Agreed.
so they are using ODI as a warm-up, so then get into T20 and then the test, of course. So let's see.
yeah. Hey, just quickly, if you have two more seconds,
Yeah.
why do we have the 9th team now?
Oh, yeah.
I think it's just the popularity and TRP and just another, especially with Ahmedabad having renovated the stadium with like 100,000 plus seats or whatever.
Yeah, but you know
More
what?
money.
It's going to dilute the teams, Kana. Nan
I
prakara.
know.
I know.
That's me.
Unless I would be happy if they increase the international quota to 5, maybe.
That would be awesome.
That would be great.
Then
Is
more
it-
people will get picked up. They won't get. They won't
And
go
and
into auction.
also I
And
read an
again,
article.
mind you, that international quota is a maximum. It's not a minimum. So if you want to play with all 11 Indians, you are welcome.
You're welcome.
But
Right.
but not more than 4 foreigners. So why not make it 5 so that at
Right.
least the Indian player standard is also
Yeah, and they're saying that with Ahmedabad team almost coming, Suresh Raina, Chennai dumped him, and he's going to be the captain of Ahmedabad.
possible. You never know. Yeah, and if there is a new team, then there's a mega auction. So every team can have a maximum of. They'll come up with the rules. It can be only 3 or maybe 5 players per team that can retain. So everybody is back in the pool, and
ಇವಾಗ ಎಷ್ಟು 5
you know.
They can retain 5 now or what in the pool?
ಅಲ್ಲ mega auction time ಅಲ್ಲಿ so far it has 3 years ago it was 5. So when it comes to that, we can actually have that discussion as well, where 3 retention and up to 2 more.
I think what, increasing the number of foreign players will give it will boost the local talent. Everything will. It's a great thing. I mean, there's so many more they can play.
I don't think they will do. I mean, 6 and 5 is pretty much like half and half there, and like 8 times 7. Right now there are opportunities for 56 Indians, but now if you bring it down, it's like 6 times 9, which is 54. So we are losing out 2 Indian slots, even with the addition of another team. So I don't think they will do that.
Right.
So I don't know. I mean,
or they can say out of the half the games can be have 5, half the games they will have 4, something like that. Then that becomes very tricky.
Yeah.
It's also interesting with an odd number of teams how it's going to be. Is it round robin? Like, what do they do for the tournament, right? Like, everyone can't play each other twice, can they? I mean, it'll be an interesting.
It's going to be too long, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're going to. See, this is a money-making machine. They're going to milk it as much as they want. They don't care about what happens later. That's what happens, unfortunately.
Yeah.
It would have been perfect, but it is what it is.
Right. 16 more games with addition of 1 team.
That means you're going to have another 2 weeks of cricket, 2 months.
Yeah.
2 months ಜಾಸ್ತಿನೇ ಆಗಿದೆ ಕಣೋ. ಇವಾಗ 40 days ಆಯ್ತು ಇವಾಗ.
Break it down, because I know in one time when they had 10 teams, they still limited it to 14 games per side by having an equal number of games, where I think they only played 5 so like nine other teams. They only played 5 teams twice. So it was 9 plus 5, 9 plus 5 for all the other teams. So it was.
I think it's unfair. If one team is in the form, if they don't get to play, I mean, if one with a bad form, let's say they lose first 5, 6, 7 games, they should have a shot at going and winning. I mean,
exactly. And then imagine if they have like 2 more games left against Mumbai Indians.
Yeah.
So never know. Yeah.
I think it's this format is good. Everything is good. Everybody plays twice, and it's a good thing. I don't know why
if they want Ahmedabad to come in, what I would say is have fresh 8 tenders and let's see who wins. Maybe Bangalore misses out. Maybe Rajasthan misses out. I don't know. Like if you want Ahmedabad, let them bid on it. Keep 8 teams and go with it. I don't know.
Yeah, but I just thought I would bring it out. That's a big thing now already. Before it's all cold, they brought in 9 and they're going to do it. BCI is working on it. I mean, because they don't have too much time, before they will have auctions already.
They have to. I mean, if it's going to be in April, May, but I don't know. I mean, if it's again until the news comes out, we have to assume by default that it's going to be April, May in India.
Yeah.
So let's see. Okay, great talk. Nice talking to you. Thank you, Vinay. Thank you, Somu.
Thanks, Abba.
That's pretty much the end of IPL 2020.
Yeah, next week I think Australia, we have to concentrate Australian cricket or whatever that is.
And there are a couple of other international series. I think West Indies is in New Zealand.
Yeah.
And England is going to South Africa.
Yeah, and they have picked Pukowski and Green. Both have 2 double hundreds already. And it's a great thing, though.
We could talk about Australia next time, maybe, because even Marnus Lambuschane's season is amazing. We could talk about some of them. They're just a very formidable team now.
I think it's the first batsman where Tendulkar said he reminds me of my batting.
Labushane, huh?
Labushane. Like the great Don said about Tendulkar. I think during Ashes or sometime, Tendulkar said, I was telling my wife.
And even in England, I saw some of his games when I'm Brilliant bat madnapa.
He's amazing this last 1 year.
Even 50 over games he played well. And Bangalore nan hogidnalla, I saw he got another 50 there. Brilliant agada.
They have that they have simplified his name to Labuschagne, right? I mean, his original name pronunciation would be Labuschagne.
Labuschagne.
Yeah.
Marnus Labuschagne.
Labuschagne.
My goodness.
Yeah, it's not even sure. So I don't know.
Whatever. Yeah. But he's a good batsman, Kanapa. Nanu Bengaluru live nodde.
And
he played really well.
And remember, Smith and Vana were not there in last season.
Correct.
They are back, and Kohli is not playing 3 tests.
Right.
So anything can happen. Advantage Australia, I would say, to begin with. Let's see.
Yeah, you have no Rohit Sharma to play hooks. You have no Ishant Sharma to bowl in the deck.
Kohli should fail in both innings, and the rest of the people get tremendous number of runs. I don't know what.
Man, we have to talk about Kohli and his RCB captaincy someday.
Oh no.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah. You want to bring in Gaudi then?
All right, it's
okay. Bye-bye.
Great talking to you. Thank you, everybody. We'll come back with a different flavor.